My name is Rose Hennessy. I'm a program evaluator with the Wisconsin Coalition Against Sexual Assault. I guess when I was 6, I did not grow up thinking, I want to be a program evaluator. That did not happen. But I did go to school at the University of Minnesota, and while I was there, I was really interested in the anti-violence movement, and I worked at the campus sexual assault center. I was a biology major, and it just so happened that there was the study abroad program in public health in the Dominican Republic. And I went there because it was kind of like a mix, like I could get biology credits, there was a social justice component. I'd heard that public health was a really great model for preventing violence. So I was interested to learn more about it. And while I was there, I got hooked up with a university in a program doing dengue fever prevention. And I didn't realize it at the time, but it was definitely the first time I ever worked as a program evaluator. And we had this really awesome intervention where we sort of had this like door knocking community campaign. We worked with locals to kind of like do multimedia and storytelling to talk about dengue fever and implications for seeking services and what folks needed to know for prevention. And when we went through, we created in these teams, we want to figure out if what we're doing is effective, and we don't want to waste people's time because they already know some of this stuff. So we created a rubric and we scored people on what they already knew about dengue fever, and then we filled in the gaps with what else they needed to know. And we got to implement this in urban settings, in rural settings, in one-on-one settings, males, females, different ages. And when I look back, the data collection methods were awful. It was all pens and paper. I'm sure we lost tons of forms, but it was really exciting because at the end of the day, we really had basically done a needs assessment. We had some great baseline data for where people already knew certain things and what communities it looked like they wanted to know more. And looking back, I think it was something like there's one population of rural males between 18 and 25 that had almost no knowledge of this because they had gone straight from some of the school systems right into working in the fields and had never gotten any of that education. And so we're like, oh, that's where we really need to focus efforts. And I look back and I think, wow, that was a moment where I was like, program evaluation, which I didn't know that's what it was, has really powerful implications because we can take scarce resources and really utilize them and target them in communities that need them the most and not waste people's time. That was sort of that baseline data. I went on to get a master's in public health because I was really interested, and I remember taking my first program evaluation course and I was like, oh, I've never liked math, this is going to be scary. And I just fell in love. I was like, oh, look, math for a purpose. I can collect information and I can use this to get more funding for our programs. Or when people say does violence prevention really work? We can use this information to say yeah, check it out, it does. And more importantly for our own program improvement. And so I've been really blessed to have been able to work as a program evaluator in sexual assault, domestic violence, child maltreatment, in all of these areas. And it's just been fantastic, and to work with communities and see how they use their results is just wonderful. And right now I work for the Wisconsin Coalition Against Sexual Assault and get to do statewide and local level projects, and it's really fantastic. So that's sort of the route of how I got to be and why I've stayed in this role, and I hope it's good for you to hear. Bye.